漫画とか読むなら人型の部屋もあった方がいいだろう。だからゴブリナたちが折ってくれた絨毯、職人が作ったベッド、寝そべっても大丈夫なソファー、そして漫画。
おお、素晴らしい、完璧ではないか。
All right, we just completed watching episode 14 of Slime, and you know, one of the things I was thinking of is like I never really said before, I just got done watching the full ED. I don't want to say I skipped the ED because that's never the thing, but I always kind of like, I ended up pausing, you know, maybe like 20 seconds into the ED. I've never really fully absorbed the whole depiction of the ED, which is essentially like a modern version of Shuna, just kind of going around a modern version of Tempest, kind of like in that college age to where, you know, she's hanging out at cafes and she's watching, you know, a lot of different people, and she goes to an arcade and wins a bunch of slime plushies, and like, it's just a really, really, really cute ED. And I have never taken the time to just sit there and watch the whole length of it. And I was like, I need to come and tell him like, yo, how cute is this ED? So in episode 14, I think this was a really great episode once again. I loved kind of seeing the continuation of episode 13, where they were putting up like the plans for their Roman Empire essentially, and they were like, you know, kind of like planning out the big Coliseum and stuff. And this episode very much started off with like Rimuru and his goblin coordinator, you know, essentially saying like, oh yeah, all these plans that we have, this would take years to construct. And then they both look at each other like, but it did it. And then they're like, and there it is, like the big old Roman Coliseum with the little slime in it. I was like, oh shit, let's go. And this episode was really just all focused on planning out what the Coliseum is going to be and what it's going to look like. And it also showed us a glimpse, or a bigger glimpse, I should say, because we already had an idea, or we knew, based on what they told us, we knew what Ramiris' powers were, but this one showed us a legit glimpse at what her powers can do, which is essentially like build floors upon floors. And essentially, based on what Ramiris told us this episode, it takes her about an hour to construct and create each floor of the dungeon. So it had her create about 15 floors. And then we finally moved into Veldora. And essentially, Veldora has been saying us, like, you know, he's been telling us, like, yo, it's at the tip. It's about to explode up in here. Like, I need to get rid of these Magicules. So what Rimuru did, he's like, okay, he's going to be the floor boss. We're going to create his floor. And he's going to be the guardian of the Coliseum. And you can go ahead and release all your Magicules and stuff. So they do that. They create his floor. They create it to what he considers, you know, perfection. He gets a cool manga room. He gets a bedroom with a ton of manga, and he released all his Magicules. And Rimuru had another idea once again. Based on Magicules, you get magic ore kind of thing. So now he has a way that, based on Veldora's consistent release of his aura, right? Based on his consistent release of all his Magicules, it'll end up creating those ores. It's kind of the same thing that Rimuru ended up absorbing when he first got to this world. It'll create all of that again. So now they can have a good depository of magic ore that they can use and sell, and it could be like a Tempest mainstay, you know, kind of as they continue to booster and boast and, you know, build up their economy. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing. And then I also loved hearing about how the dungeon is going to be constructed. Every 10 floors, they're going to have like a restore, or like a save point or restore point for people. And Ramiris also created, what did she call them? Reincarnation bands or revive bands or something. But essentially, she created a band that they're either going to give or they're going to sell. I assume, you know, when the dungeon first opens and stuff, they'll probably give them to all the participants, but then eventually it'll be an item that you would have to purchase, kind of like, you know, at the item shop if you want to go into the dungeon and not actually risk your life. And based on Ramiris' power, she's able to use as a one-time use, and if somebody dies, they're able to come back to a save point, very video game-like, and they're able to revive, and she tested this on Beretta, and I was like, okay, Then the Beretta stuff was really cute too. You know, she officially, the servant pack or master servant pack, whatever Rimuru had with her, he officially transferred and moved her over to Ramiris. So now Ramiris and Trainee are, you know, both under Beretta and Trainee are both under Ramiris, which is really, really cool to see. And then now, you know, next episode is called next week is called Audience. So I assume that's when people are going to start, you know, from, you know, because the whole point of this is to have this big festival and everybody kind of like flood into Tempest. So I'm guessing the idea is next week we're going to see the beginnings of that as the important people start to come in. There's probably going to be like an audience, which is why next week is called Audience, like a big meeting that's going to end up taking place. And then we'll probably get to see the festival after, as well as, you know, the dungeon in action, I assume. But really, really cool stuff. And one of the things I think I said a couple of weeks ago was, you know, this second core of Slime really, really feels like Slime Diaries. And as I was watching that ED, and as I'm kind of watching the show, it really kind of solidifies that feeling. And I think somebody, maybe last week or the week before in the comments, they had said like, yo, Dom, like this kind of feels like a whole nother studio doing this. It feels like the work transitioned over to the studio that did Slime Diaries. And it really does feel like that. But you know, the studio that did Slime Diaries, you know, they worked in tandem with the folks that create the show. So it's not too far-fetched, you know, for it to feel really similar. But regardless, this is just making me want a new season of Slime Diaries, because I think I've talked about it before, but Slime Diaries covered what occurred between season 1 and 2. Now I would really love to see Slime Diary, a new season of Slime Diaries that covers what happened between season 2 and season 3. I think that would be really, really cool as well. So anyways, I'm loving this season so far. It is slower paced. It is more talkative. It is more set up. But I just think that the way Slime does it is just so masterful, because I'm never bored. Like, I am legitly engaged. I laughed at the Veldora stuff. I laughed at, you know, Rimuru and Ramiris' schemes that they have going on. I laughed when they were talking about the revival band and that Ramiris had already tested it on Beretta, and freaking Rimuru was like, excuse me? You know? So all of that I just think is so entertaining. So anyways, like everything else, I know it's not for everybody. And if you're finding yourself bored or not entertained, then I will say, you know, maybe let this stack up. Maybe the dub is more absorbable. It is being dubbed as well. Maybe just let it all stack up and just watch it on a Saturday or a Sunday or a weekend or something. So anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Interested to see on how how people are feeling with this pacing and this story change that we just came across after we just finished the Hinata, you know, stuff. I'm really interested to see on how people's temperature check is going. So let me know yours in the comments below. And my friends, I'll see you guys next week for episode 15. Or actually, I won't see you next week for episode 15. Next week is a skip week. There's like a special going on in Japan. So they're skipping next week. So I'll see you the week after, which would be the week of the 19th of July. So I'll see you guys then. All right, my friends. Peace.